Two people can sit in the same exact row on the exact same flight, and one of them paid half of what the other one paid. Have you ever wondered why? And what if that gap has nothing to do with luck or some secret code? What if it's a system airlines built into every single seat on purpose? My mom books flights that cost 50 to 60% less than what most people pay for the exact same route. Not once, every single time we travel. For years, I thought it was a magic trick. It's not magic, it's math. And once you see how the pricing works, you'll never look at the flight search the same way again. I'm Vienna, like the city in Austria, not the sausage. This is Wandering Vienna, where I share how my mom and I travel the world and the whole financial side of actually making that happen on a single mom's regular income. Stay till the end because I'm going to show you the numbers from a flight we booked to Bangkok, Thailand for this fall. We paid $1,038 and saved 63%. And we bought the tickets the moment the price dropped because the money was already sitting in our adventure fund. Every week, my mom checks the same route on Skyscanner and Priceline, side by side, watching how the price moves on both. That's the actual habit behind everything I'm about to show you. Why would an airline sell the exact same seat 20 different ways? Every plane is secretly split into 10, sometimes over 20 different price tiers called fare buckets. The cheapest buckets might be worth $200. The next one up might be $250, then $300, then higher, all the way up to a fully flexible ticket that can cost 2 to 5 times more than the cheapest seat in the same cabin. Those buckets aren't random. As the cheap seats in the lowest bucket sell out, that bucket closes, and the airline starts selling for the next one up. Nobody flips a switch, it just happens because a limited number of cheap seats ran out. That's the entire reason the person next to you paid double. They booked after the cheap bucket was already gone. The seat was never one price to begin with, it was always a stack of prices. And this is exactly what my mom's flight radar mindset is built to watch for. And that answers half the question. It doesn't explain why the timing matters just as much as booking at all. Airlines release those buckets slowly, months before flights, because they're still guessing how many people will want that seat. As the flight gets closer, the real data comes in, and the airline starts closing the cheap buckets on purpose, saving the expensive ones for the people booking last minute who need that seat and can't wait. That creates a sweet spot, late enough that the real pricing exists, early enough that the cheap buckets are still open. That's the exact window Flight Radar is built to catch. Keep that in mind, because in a few minutes I'm going to show you exactly what that window looked like for us with real numbers on a real flight. There's also a myth about flight prices that almost everyone believes, and it's actually keeping people from understanding what's really going on. You've probably heard that airlines track your searches and raise the price if you check too many times. That's not true. Prices go up because other people are booking seats in the same cheap bucket while you're looking at it. You're watching real inventory disappear in real time. That's actually good news because it means the pattern is predictable, and a predictable pattern is something you can just watch for. And that's what Flight Radar actually is. Not an app, not a plugin, not something you buy. It's a mindset. 15 minutes once a week all year round, because we travel on every school break. The number on your screen isn't punishing you. It's telling you how many cheap seats are left, which is exactly the mindset my mom runs every single week. And I promised you the real numbers, so don't go anywhere, because this next part is the proof. We're flying to Bangkok, Thailand for my fall school break. It's one of the 10 countries on our Wander window, the running list of every place we want to go. My mom checked that route every week for over a month, comparing Skyscanner against Priceline every single time, watching whether one was consistently running lower than the other on that specific route. Most weeks they landed within a few dollars of each other, but Priceline was the one showing $1,038 first. My mom booked our tickets 8 months before the flight, per ticket, and it was $1,038. She didn't book it because it was the first price she saw. She'd been watching that route during her weekly Flight Radar check for weeks, comparing it against what similar routes usually cost that far out. When the price hit $1,038, it sat right at the bottom of the fare bucket. and she booked immediately, because that's the entire point of watching every week instead of just one. 3 months later, at 5 months out, we checked the same flight again out of pure curiosity, just to see what would happen. Within a single 4-week window, that price jumped from $1,900 to $2,300 and then to $2,800. The same flight, the same seats. We watched it happen in real time, after we'd already locked in our tickets. And that's not a guess, and it's not a lucky day. My mom read the booking curve herself, caught the flight while the cheap bucket was still open, and locked it in before the buckets above it started closing one by one. She's reading the same data the airline's own pricing systems use to set that price. $2,800 minus $1,038 is $1,762 per ticket. For the both of us, that's $3,524 that never left our adventure fund. That's not a coupon, that's not a discount code, that's money that stayed exactly where it was because my mom read a pattern 3 months before most people would have even started looking. It's not just a percentage on a screen, it's thousands of real dollars that get to stay in our fund for the next place on our wander window, instead of disappearing into a fare bucket we never needed to pay for. And none of that depended on a coupon code, a travel hack, or a lucky day. It came from checking the same route the same way every single week. Here's how you'd actually start doing this yourself. Pick the route you're thinking of, check it on Skyscanner and Priceline at the same time, once a week, the same day if you can. Don't book the first low number you see. Watch it for a few weeks first, so you know what normal actually looks like for that route. Because a price only means something once you know what it's being compared to. For most international flights, 6 to 9 months out is where the cheap buckets are still usually open and the pricing has started to settle into something real. Too early and the airline hasn't released enough seats to show you a pattern. Too late and you're already competing with people who can't wait. You're not looking for luck, you're looking for the moment the price sits at the bottom of its own pattern and then you move. What gets me is that most people treat a flight price like a fact instead of a moving target. One number, one time, and they assume that's just what it costs. My mom taught me to ask what's actually happening behind the number before I believe it's fixed. The Bangkok flight wasn't luck. It was a pattern she already knew how to read, because she'd been watching it every single week before we ever needed to book. She wasn't smarter than the airline, she was just paying attention longer than most people bothered to. That's the real system behind every trip we've ever booked, including the one we're taking this fall. It's not a coupon code, and it's not luck. It's the wander window telling us where, the flight radar mindset telling us when. Watching Skyscanner and Priceline every week instead of once, and our adventure fund ready the moment the number is right. I'm 15. Everything in this video is just my own opinion and experience. It's meant for inspiration, not expert advice. This video isn't sponsored. Click the link below to go further into what this channel is actually about. The same systems I watched my mom build that most people have never seen before. Comment below if this just changed how you see things. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet so you don't miss out. Please hit the like button as well because it tells the algorithm you liked this kind of content. I post every single week and I don't want you to miss what's coming. Share this with a friend who you think needs to hear this. I'm Vienna, this is Wandering Vienna, and make sure to come back because there's always more to explore.